urgent need for what we call monumental reforms. Reforms that we all cherish at a given point in time when we take a retrospective effect of whatever we've done over the period. It's very crucial. Monumental reforms, not to just scratch the surface. Just like having stomach upset, you go and put plaster on it, you will not be able to cure it. There will be the need for you to do something deeper than just putting plaster on your tummy. So we say monumental reforms. The monumental reforms puts all of us in a certain situation. And that situation is that when I'm here to deliver maybe a political manifesto or campaign, if let's say I'm contesting for the general elections in Ghana, and I come here and have discussions with you, and I don't say anything about education, I fail to say anything about health, I fail to say my policy direction with regard to tourism, our growth network here and there. It simply means I've not touched what we call the bare bones. So in football, we speak our own language. And the language revolves around 8 key pillars that you can never discuss football. Jerry, you can never discuss football without touching on these bare bones. What are the bare bones that we are referring to? I cannot close this session without touching on what we call football development. Football is all about development. When we go to the nitty-gritty of it, I will explain what we mean by development, but you can only talk of football development. You can talk of commercialization, you can talk of competitions. These are the bare bones that we are mentioning. Governance and administration. You can talk of infrastructure, because without infrastructure, we cannot have football. I hope I'm making headway. I don't want to say I'm making sense. You can talk of safety and security. Even the recent normalization competitions were characterized with violence issues. So before we take up, there will be the need for us to look at our safety and security and how we can modify it to suit our current circumstances or our circumstances. You can also talk of commercialization. I've mentioned commercialization. You can talk of financial resources. If you don't have the money, there is no way you can organize a decent league. So we need to create innovative ways, re-engineer the way we are going to raise money to fund the projects that the FA will earmark going forward. Having done all these things, that is where you go to Oloboy Kofi Menu's domain. You need the regulatory framework. So you have to redefine and re-regulate the laws to back the reforms that you have introduced. Because within the administrative wing, you may propose certain things that you will need congressional approval. So before you go to Congress and you table that motion, there's a need for you to rationalize it. And so we say that the 8 bare bones includes what we call re-regulation. You have to re-regulate the sector. One country that has imbibed this, and they are doing well in Africa. I don't want to bring South Africa. If we talk of South Africa, they are already up there because, I mean, the standards are quite high. If you want to even go and learn best practices, the best way to go is South Africa. But those within our level, Uganda making enough grounds in terms of UEFA sponsorship, in terms of what FIFA is giving them, we much nowhere near them. Ghana, it may interest you to know that we've never assessed what we call the investment capital aspect of the FIFA Forward program. We always make do with the recurrent aspect where we are giving about $558,000. Yet on annual basis, we're losing $750. Now it's moved from 1.250 to what? To $1.5 million on annual basis. On annual basis. So all these things will have to be done to more or less advance the cause of football. Now, I want to take on sectorial basis, on pillar basis, some of the challenges that we have been facing. We have one structured pathway in youth development. When you come to Tema Youth, the way we develop our youth are quite different from when you go to WAFA. WAFA will put them I don't want to describe, in a very confined community where these boys eat, drink, sleep, everything about football. But Tama youth, they will come, train in the morning, go home, and return the next day. It's the same with what my colleagues in Amidas. Talent identification process is tainted with bias selection. A player will come, you will see that this boy is multi-talented, yet because he doesn't know the people involved in the selection process, they are not selected. Eko Benson, before we had him, had been to Power FC Sportive. So when he came, I looked at this, so I could be one reject us. I couldn't believe it. When we took Eko Benson 2 years down the line, Eko Benson was featuring for the Black Stars against Brazil. So when my counterpart, Samuel Williams, called me, say, Mama Yoko, no, really, that is not the issue. The issue here is that what people rejected, we have been able to give life to it and giving future to the player. For inadequate Kudi Babu, we don't have the money to push this, and to me, it's very crucial. In the youth development, cheating and alterations of biodata has been wahala for all of us. At the U17 level, that is where you will learn new tricks when it comes to age cheating. Excuse me. We had a player, he came with a passport 96, club license 96. He went through the MRI. Subsequently, when the 96 group failed, he came back with a 98 passport, 98 license, and he also went through the MRI. We are about pushing the documents to CAF when we realized that we had to quickly call for the records and rescind our decision for submitting it. If that had not been the case, that one, it's straight protest. There's no way we could have survived it, because we'll be deemed to have deliberately and forcefully changed the records of the player without the administrators knowing it. The last bit of it, in terms of the problems that we are facing, in terms of youth development, is there is no identifiable style of play. Nana will always tell you, what is the style of play? Is it Samba or is it Agro? We don't have it. So you go to the national teams, what those within the lower ranks are doing are quite distinctive from what others are doing at a different level. And ask yourself, in terms of level of progression or transitional period, how would these people be able to understand each other going forward? Some, after under 17, they'll come and conduct a new program for the under 20. And the question is that, so those we took for the under 17, what happened? Because one coach will say that I wouldn't like to continue with what Thunder has started in order for me to give glory to Thunder. So by way of exercising that right, they drop an entire squad and also start with a new program. It doesn't help us in terms of our level of progression with youth development. We have another segment, governance and administration. This is another hurdle or factor that is militating against the growth of football in the country. The first issue is that tainted corporate image as a result of perceived corruption. At times, you don't feel comfortable working in the image as an administrator. There was a time we went to Kumasi to play a game, I think the Congo game. I went to Anochi to visit a friend. Just as I was hesitating, the security guard said, Master, why do you do for me, mommy? Meanwhile, this was a trip I paid for my air transport. Me, when I go to such places, I don't like the Abrofrebiane. So what I do is that my locals. So I'll be sleeping in Golden Tulip. But it's only where I lay my stubborn head. But in terms of my fufu, don't go there. I'll go for my fufu. So virtually sponsoring myself, but I'm being perceived to have received money from the government sources or authorities. So we have that tainted image that we need to repair. We need to engage in what we call image enhancing drive. So that at the end of it, we'll all be proud to be part of the football industry. We all lack requisite personnel, both at the micro level, that is the clubs, and at the macro level, that is at the FA. Do the clubs have requisite personnel to drive their policies? It's totally non-existent. It is totally non-existent. So the fact is that we need the men when it comes to the development of the game. It's very key and important. We need the men who deliver the projects for us. We don't have them both at the FA level and at the club level. We need to build capacity if we really want to project forward. The organogram, as presently structured, does not augur well for checks and balances. There is no delegation of responsibilities. The structure will be there. When the executives travel outside the country, we travel with the business in our pocket. Committees will sit, allowances are not paid. People will go on national assignment, emoluments are not paid. It will have to change. We need to put in place proper structures, systems and procedures, that it doesn't have to take me, Palmer, to change, to come and sign a check before about 5,000 Ghana cedis is paid. There's a need for us to give a threshold for the secretariat and other officers to deal with it. I don't always have to more or less micromanage the FA. The structures of the FA must be made to work. When we have compliance and auditing, they have to work. They have to do their inspection before we move on. The ineffective leakages between the FA, that is the GFA, and the RFAs. People tend to frown at the RFAs. The general perception here is that RFAs have been inactive. I laugh it off. Garbage in, garbage out. If really you want the RFAs to be functional, there will be the need for you to institutionalize measures that will get them active. You don't create a system and you expect the system to re-originate itself and work naturally. There will be the need for you to put the dots on the I's and cross the T's. So how do we intend to let it work? We have licenses being issued. RFA will have to move all the way from Bolaga to Accra and have their licenses processed. Is that the way we want things to go? A club has to pay for, let's say, yellow cards or questionable, offenses. That person will have to move all the way to Accra. Will it not be prime and proper for the RFA to receive something of this nature and later on remit the cash to the FA? And to me, the beauty of it is that with regard to the licensing, the moment they finish with the processing, RFA keeps 40% and they remit 60% of the processing fee to the headquarters. When they return the 40%, what do they use it? They will use it to build capacity at the RFA level. All we require from them is for them to submit quarterly, monthly, or regular reports to the FA. That is the kind of linkage or the bond that will have to be created. We always have human and vehicular congestion at the FA. You go there at times, when they call you one chairman, if you don't take time, something will have to fall. Another chairman, something will have to fall. So when you are getting closer to the GFA, you are scared. Is that the way we want things to go? When you go to FIFA's secretariat, you may not even meet human beings moving. It's quiet, very sound, it's business. We go there to do business. But GFA, you go there and you are inundated with a lot of people moving around. And any mention of chairman, your pocket will have to drop. Unstructured compensation and emoluments. We have not structured our emoluments and compensation. People join the FA, it doesn't matter whether the person has a certain number of years training or experience. They take the same pay as somebody who has been there for several years. Is that the way to go? every organization, there's a basic entry requirement in terms of what to earn. What we earn as executive council or executive committee members has always been a brouhaha matter. Hey, they've taken $15,000. They've taken. I'm quite sure when normalization took over, at least you've seen that we're dealing with conservative figures. We're dealing with conservative figures. The fact of the matter is that every person in football, every stakeholder in football will have to understand that when I offer my services at the executive council level, I need to earn something. But that should be made public. That is transparency. We are here. I'm supposed to earn maybe 10,000 or 5,000 or 2,000 Ghana cedis at the end of every month. It's known to everybody. It's not that, oh, when we go there, then we'll go and approve something, then it will become a whole hell of an issue. And when Todd sees me, because he is thinking that Palmer is pocketing about $15,000, then it turns into another matter. No such wahala. Everything will have to be explained right from the onset so that we all get fair understanding of exactly how the emoluments will go. This is my area that I enjoy very much. That is finance. Schedule behind you. At a point when you don't even know how to make money or enjoy money, when you even receive the money, you will not know how to use it. So cockroaches will come for it. Cockroaches will come for it. The FA has had a lot of issues with regard to finance. And I remember a young lawyer that we are very close, Salasi Adika, told me, Palmer, somebody is selling granite and is making money. You are selling the passion of the nation. Nana, you are selling the passion of the nation. Football will be our pen. You are still struggling to make money. It doesn't have to happen. So we are of the view that there should be innovative and creative ideas to raise money. We are where we are because of one, budgeting and budgetary control techniques. Do we spend according to budget? No. You'll be there. We buy out of what? Impulse. Oh, I did a condom. No. Proper organizations are not managed in that manner. It has to go through an audit trail. It goes to the audit and compliance. They will have to verify whether this was in our budget. So they will make references to the finance committee budget, and finance committee will have to answer whether they have approved of such a budget before it goes. As and when we start implementing this budgeting and budgetary control, we will get to a certain point that every amount expended, be it capital expenditure or recurrent expenditure, will go by the budget. Lack of accountability to establish the audit trail. Transactions are conducted in terms of proper documentation, what we call evidential proof or source documents. We tend to lack them at the FA. Somebody who will pick the account should be able to track down on how the transaction started and how it flowed and where it ended. The audit trail will have to be followed. This is how proper institutions go about their businesses. So that, like what I do at Tema Youth. I sign check, I go somewhere, I say, how much do you earn? So, that is not the way to go. So if we're a club and you want to point to the FA chairman to say that FA chairman, be accountable within your own body politics of your small corner club, try and achieve accountability for all of us to see. So that when you come and say, oh, even House of Folk, we don't do what the FA is doing. You'll be on a very sound grounding in such discussions.